You ever look at someone who's incredibly successful, making a ton of money, and think, they don't seem very free? It's a weird paradox, right? Some people with massive financial resources seem completely trapped, while others, with way less, seem to have total control over their lives. This isn't really about the number in your bank account. So today, we're going to dig into the hidden forces that separate just being rich from being truly free. So on the surface, you think the math is simple. More money equals more freedom. But, reality often tells a very different story. So the big question we're tackling is this. Why do people who have the resources to do literally anything often have the least control over their own time? Well, the answer isn't in their financial statements. It's hiding in a single, really powerful signal. And that signal is this. Real financial freedom doesn't come from a high income. It comes from low dependency. This is the absolute core idea we're going to unpack. It has way less to do with what you earn and so much more to do with what you owe. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about obligations. Okay, so what do we actually mean by dependency? Just think of it as any fixed obligation that makes it harder for you to move, to pivot, to change your mind down the road. Sure, a high income is great. It expands your capacity to do things. But it's the structure of your commitments that really dictates your freedom to act. You see, this completely reframes the whole problem. The real bottleneck holding you back from freedom isn't a lack of cash. It's a lack of viable exit paths. Exit paths from a job, from a city, from a lifestyle you've built. A system, or a life, with fewer of these binding commitments is just naturally more resilient. It can absorb shocks. But a highly dependent system, well, it tends to break. So this signal of low dependency, it reveals a really common pattern. And this isn't just some theory. It's a very real treadmill that a lot of high achievers find themselves on. And honestly, they often have no idea how they even got there. Here's how it happens. Here's how your nice, flexible cash flow turns into these rigid, locked-in contracts. It might start with a big mortgage. Then you layer on the social expectations of how you're supposed to live. Your professional reputation starts to demand a certain car, a certain neighborhood. Family obligations grow. And pretty soon, just maintaining this lifestyle becomes a full-time, high-stakes job. Every single one of these is a contract that quietly limits your future choices. So what's the system underneath all this that's creating the treadmill? Well, it's a really powerful mechanism we can call the lifestyle lock-in effect. Let's break down exactly how it works step by step. It's such a predictable path. First, your income goes up. That's great. So, naturally, your lifestyle inflates to match it. But here's the really crucial step. The things that used to be wants, luxuries, they slowly start to feel like absolute needs. And once that mental switch flips, your fixed costs lock in at this new, higher level. And just like that, with no single big dramatic decision, your exit paths have quietly vanished. So the key takeaway here is this isn't just about spending too much money. The real trap is the invisible social infrastructure all around you. It's the pressure from seeing what your peers are doing. It's the risk to your reputation. All of this makes cutting back feel less like a smart financial move and more like a personal failure, like you're losing a piece of your identity. And that's the glue that keeps the lock in place. Understanding this whole mechanism is so important because not getting it comes at a very real, even if it's hidden, cost. The price you end up paying is being trapped by the very success you worked so hard for. And who's the most vulnerable here? Well, it's often the people you'd least expect. It's the high earners who, believe it or not, are still just one bad month away from a full-blown crisis. It's really smart people who are brilliant at pricing financial risk but completely misprice the risk to their own time and their own autonomy. And ultimately, it's anyone whose long-term options are just slowly, quietly eroding in the background without them even noticing. To put it as simply as possible, this is the cost. The price of this whole structural trap is your exit. It's the loss of your ability to leave, to just walk away from a job, a city, a project, any situation that just isn't right for you anymore. You lose your exit. But there is another way to look at all of this. Financially resilient people, they think about money in a fundamentally different way. They're not even playing the same game because they are solving for a completely different variable. These two mindsets are just worlds apart. On one side, you have people who see wealth as consumption power. Its whole purpose is immediate gratification. What can this money buy me right now? But on the other side, you have people who see wealth as time sovereignty. For them, its purpose is to protect long-term options, to secure the freedom to make choices later. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The real lasting return on your wealth isn't found in the luxuries you can buy. It's measured in the difficult, painful, forced choices you get to avoid. It's the power to say no, to take a year off, to wait for the right thing to come along, all without facing some catastrophic consequence. That is the ultimate luxury. So, to kind of bring this all home, we're not going to end with a neat little list of tips or tricks. Instead, we're going to end with 3 questions, and they're just for you to reflect on your own situation. First one, who or what really controls your time? Is it you, or is it your calendar, your inbox, your boss, your clients? Just be honest with yourself on that one. Second question, what would you stop doing tomorrow if money was just not a factor? The answer to that question points like a giant blinking arrow directly to where your freedom is being held hostage. And finally, maybe the most important question of all. Are you optimizing for wealth or are you optimizing for freedom? Because as we've just seen, they are not the same thing, not at all. And choosing one doesn't automatically get you the other.